You're listening to Market the Brew, a leading resource for promoting and marketing craft beer. Join in as we share with you, straight from the source, tools and strategies craft brewers from around the country are using right now to achieve significant success. This episode's brewery derives its name from the first two atomic bombs detonated at the Nevada test site. These two test explosions were codenamed after the military's phonetic alphabet of the time, making them Tests Able and Baker. The experimentation at the Nevada test site led to the refining of the atomic bomb and the ushering in of the nuclear age. This was a notable time in Nevada, as atomic blast viewing parties were commonplace, and several Miss Atomic beauty queens were crowned. The atomic age influences this brewery's artwork and concepts, while allowing them to give a respectful nod to Nevada's unique state history. The brewery has a mascot of sorts, the atomic duck, and legend has it that a duck was the only animal to survive the atomic test conducted at the Nevada test site. That duck bested the blasts and wandered off and waddled into history, becoming forever known as the atomic duck. The duck has become a large part of this brewery's branding and has evolved over time. The first thing you'll see when you get close to the brewery is the large grain silo on the brewery that features a duck design. Although it was not part of the original brewery plan, it has evolved since the brewery opened. The beer flight is in the shape of a duck's foot and even comes with a small rubber duck that you can keep. They have become quite a collectible for many of their customers. And at the time of this podcast recording, they had just ordered 50,000 more ducks as they become that popular. The duck is a big part of this brewery's branding. But before we start the podcast, a quick reminder that the Market the Brew podcast is available at marketthebrew.com, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio Podcasts, and other popular podcast sites. The video of this episode and all the other episodes are available at the Promote the Brew YouTube channel for you to watch or listen in. We hope that you'll join us and share these episodes with your family and friends and on your social media. Now, find a comfortable place to sit, grab a glass of your favorite beer, kick back and relax, and listen in as Daniel and Travis enjoy a conversation with Kevin Lingley, the Director of Marketing and Public Relations at Able Baker Brewing Company in Las Vegas, Nevada. Kevin shares with us a lot of the backstory behind the name Able Baker and the history of the duck. Cheers.
Hey there, thanks for joining us today.
Hello.
So I'm going to start by asking you to introduce yourself.
Okay, I'm Kevin Lingley. I'm the Director of Marketing and Public Relations with Able Baker Brewing in Las Vegas, Nevada.
And how did you get into the brewery scene?
Well, so I personally joined on later after the fact, but the brewery began as a couple guys that were home brewing. They're actually drinking one night and just kind of talking about, making their own beer. And one guy's like, I'll order stuff right now. And he ended up ordering a couple $1,000s worth of equipment, having it. Wow. So they were brewing in the kitchen and then moved to the garage, and then may or may not have done some fests without being legally allowed to, under the guise of being a brewery. And then began contract brewing out of a brewery that's no longer in business here in Vegas, Joseph James Brewery. And then we opened our doors in 2019 here.
Wow.
Yeah.
So are you from Las Vegas or the area?
I am from Southern California. I think everybody's kind of just, this is a pretty eclectic town. Everybody kind of moves here from other places. I moved here in 2010. One of the owners from Hawaii, the other one's from the East Coast. So everybody kind of, but they've been here for a long time. Talking decades. So, yeah.
So where does the name Able Baker come from?
So, well, let me, I know I'm going to get reamed for that last answer real fast. Let me clarify. He's not from Hawaii. He's from California and then lived in Hawaii and then came here. But anyway, the group of guys, one of the guys, it kind of started as a joke. one of the guys that started the whole concept was Howard, and they would always say Howard the Duck. And so they started looking into the duck story and duck stuff. And, legend has it that they used to test unfortunately used to test on animals for their atomic testing out here in Nevada. And legend has it is the duck is the only animal that survived and waddled away. So that's where that comes from.
Oh, that's funny.
That's great.
I would not have guessed that.
Definitely not. So how big is your brewery and how many barrels would you say you produce per year?
So I know you guys asked this on the previous questions. I don't want to get these numbers wrong, but I wrote down the answers to this stuff. Hopefully you guys are good at editing my talk.
No worries.
But so we are 7,500 square feet. But that does include our cooler in the back where we keep all the kegs, all the cans, everything canned. It includes our brewing space. Because if you haven't been to the brewery, the brewery is literally in the tap room. I mean, you're in the tap room watching them brew. So all the space is all connected. But that's 7,500 square feet. We do, let's see here. Let me find those notes. I want to say we're up to 3,400 barrels this year, if I remember correctly. Sorry if this is a little off. My notes are out of order. I'm just gonna go. Oh, there we go. 3,200. So we're on pace for 3,200 barrels this year, and that's up from 2,400 last year.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you guys do any distribution, or you just self-distribute at all?
So we distribute within Nevada, and we're on the 3-tier system. So we have to send it out, and then they send it out to retailers.
Okay.
And we can't self-distribute.
Do you do any like casinos, or are you just strictly like?
We are on the strip in several major casinos, which is pretty cool. We're at Allegiant Stadium.
Oh wow, nice.
Yeah. So we got some big spots out in Vegas. So it's
For
pretty
sure,
exciting.
getting exposure.
So, what made you choose Las Vegas as the base for your brewery, the home of your brewery?
So everybody lived here. Everybody that was home brewing, the group of friends and stuff, that they all worked here. They all lived here, and so Vegas at the time. I mean, it still is kind of, I guess you could say, young in the craft beer world, but especially back when Able Baker started, it was very young. There weren't a whole lot of breweries, so it made sense to begin one here.
Well, that kind of leads me to my next question. There weren't many breweries, but were there any, or were you kind of the first one in that area?
No, there were some. Big Dog's Brewery used to be Holy Cow, and that was the original brewery. I believe they began back in the 90s. So there have been breweries around for a while. 777's been around for a while. There's a couple. There's a couple before us, Craft House, that kind of really started the wave of growing. So we're definitely not the first, and we're not the last, because a couple have opened since we have.
Yeah, when we were planning our trip, we went back in April for Travis's 30th. So we planned a little brewery tour day, and you were our first stop, and it was so easy just to jump around to different places because there's so many breweries around now.
Yeah, the city kind of dubbed us as Brewery Row, which has been great because it's brought tourism here. It's kind of given a destination for people, for breweries. We have, I want to say, 4 different breweries close to us, and tap rooms and bottle shops and stuff now. And so there have been rumors of other breweries coming in. And so it's really becoming a destination, which is great.
And sorry. No, it was one of the first breweries we saw online, and we had to come and visit. But I think a lot of people would agree that they enjoy your brewery, since you were voted the best brewery in Vegas 2 years in a row.
2 years
Congrats.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I'm very humbled by that. Is awesome to win that, because that is 100% fan voting. That's not, there's no politics involved in that. We didn't actually, last year, we didn't even know that it was going on, and they emailed us and said, hey, you guys won. So it was really exciting. This year we were like, hey, go vote for us again, so we can get back to back. But it wasn't any kind of crazy marketing for it. So it's like truly from our fans' hearts and them voting. So it's awesome. It's very humbling to win that 2 years in a row.
That says a lot.
Yeah.
I like that the first year was a complete surprise.
It was. I mean, it was. It was. I got the email and then a phone call. I don't remember which one came first. I was like, awesome. That's awesome to hear. And then we did a bill. We put a big billboard up, like saying, "Hey," it's pretty cool. Yeah.
And then when you think of Vegas, you think of like casinos and clubs and everything. And you guys are towards like old Vegas, like near Fremont and everything. How do you draw people to come to that side and like more breweries than like Fremont Street? Because you guys are close, but not like walking distance close, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, like I touched on, being dubbed Brewery Row definitely helps. Becoming a destination for people, I think beer fans, when they travel, they kind of game plan. I know I do when I go places. Where am I going to go when I get there?
Right.
And so, that definitely helps. But ultimately, I think the beer speaks for itself. I think, when people look at reviews of breweries, they look at reviews of, on Google or on Yelp or whatever, and they know where they want to go. And so, I really think that holds a lot of power.
Do you guys have any like walking brew tours in that area, since you guys kind of have like the Brewery Row or anything? Do you know anything of that, or anybody that's making anything like that?
Yeah, there's a company, Las Vegas Brewery Tours, I believe is their name, and I believe they bus people to each spot. That's the one that comes to the top of my head. But there are a few. I get a lot of emails asking if we want to participate and stuff, and so there's definitely companies out there. I'm sure if you search for it, that do the different tours and stuff.
Okay.
Darn, we could have moved out to Vegas and started a brewery tour.
I didn't know there was buses either. I mean, we walked to most of the breweries when we were out there.
Yeah,
I mean, close enough. So
yeah, around us, definitely. There are some over in Henderson, and so I'm not sure if that tour bus takes you all the way over to there too.
okay.
But I would imagine that they do.
Yeah, I think we made it to 5 or 6 breweries that day that we were out there.
We could have used a bus after 6.
I think between here and Fremont, it's probably about 6. So you probably hit
Yeah,
them.
because that's where we started by you, and then we kind of worked our way towards there. So
Yeah, that's a solid day.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you guys got great food as well. Just beer, obviously, and then food on the other side. Like we had, I don't even know, the tacos that we had that just amazing.
Yeah. So we can't take credit for that. I mean, we take credit for having them, partnering with them. But Arts District Kitchen is a completely separate business that takes the space up inside. But they are their own thing, and we try to promote them as that so they can get the credit where credit's due, because they do a great job. Yeah.
Yeah, they were delicious. I brought the food back to the table for us to share a plate. Went to the bathroom. When I came back, there's one taco left for me.
You gotta reevaluate the people at your table.
So when we were planning our brewery tour, we also did research, kind of figuring out where we wanted to start and what breweries to see. And the first thing we saw was the silo on top of your building that's painted like a duck.
Yeah.
So if you ever look up Able Baker, that's probably the first thing you're going to see. Now, was that silo as a duck part of the original business plan?
It wasn't. I mean, the silo was, yes, because the silo holds our grain. It is active. We do use it. And then it was painted yellow shortly after. And then the duck was added on to turn it into a duck. Probably about a year ago, we added that on there.
Oh, that's new.
That's new. Okay.
Yeah. We discussed putting like a little tail on the backside too. But that hasn't happened yet.
Well, it's definitely a draw, and it's so tall. Like people are just coming off the street to take selfies with this duck.
Yeah.
So another thing we noticed too was if you order a flight at Able Baker, it comes with a duck shaped foot, like a webbed foot, and then it comes with a rubber ducky.
Yep.
Have you noticed the sales of flights have increased since adding the rubber duck?
Well, the rubber duck's been there since the beginning, but I definitely think it increases the sales of flights. I mean, people go crazy for those things. and it's cool. I mean, I see pictures on social media. They'll tag us, and their whole dashboard of their car or the back window will be covered in different ducks that they've collected. And so we've branded them. They have our name on the bottom. So it's cool because you can see which ones they've collected. If it's a certain time of year, like Halloween or Christmas, or we did St. Patrick's Day,
Oh, fun.
Thanksgiving, we'll do specialty ducks for those times too. And so people want to collect them all and stuff. And so it definitely helps. I'm still shocked with the popularity of them, but it's awesome. And I love it. I love to see it because that's probably the biggest thing that we get tagged. I mean, it's definitely the biggest pictures we get tagged in is our flights. But we see the ducks all the time.
Well, we had to do it ourselves. We went and we got our own flight with our own duck, and to prove it, it is stamped.
Yeah, we just we just put an order in for 50,000 of them to be shipped over.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
Wow.
we go through a lot of them.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it'll last us a while, but it's definitely, it's a lot.
So what would you consider your most successful moment at Able Baker Brewing?
For me personally, would be our pivot during COVID. Everything shut down, and at the time we had, I think, 6 packaged beers, and so now we're at 41.
Wow.
And so, yeah, we actually grew during COVID, where a lot of other companies, unfortunately, obviously didn't survive or didn't do so well, but we actually grew in that time. And I think a big part of it was we do have the kitchen attached to us, so we're able to stay open. Well, not stay open, but serve curbside. And so we had to change our formatting. And so all of our beers had to go into cans and get labels and get branded. And so it just kind of skyrocketed all of our cans going forward. And, for me to just have such tough times, but to still grow, to me personally, that was most successful. But if you talk to the brewers, guaranteed, we won gold this year at the World Beer Cup for our Monique, our Belgian style quad. And that's pretty badass. So I got to say, so far, that's probably overall the most, successful, exciting thing that we've done. So we'll see. We have a World Beer Cup coming up too. Great American Beer Fest coming up. So we're entered into that. We'll see.
Well, your beer is fantastic. So congrats on the win.
You.
And I will say I do enjoy on Instagram seeing all the branding you have on your cans and the names you guys come up with. I think it's hilarious.
Yeah, it's we try to put a story with every brand too. So if you go on Untapped, when you check things in, there's a story. Sometimes it's pretty lengthy, but we love history, and so we tie the history in to some of the beers and the branding of it. But yeah, it's that's one of the more fun things, is to come up with the different brands and the names, and see what see how many times we can change things around with Duck. Our IPA lines are our hoppy beers. Those are our Duck brand, and then we have other themes for the other styles. But yeah, we group think, and so we all come up with different stuff and change stuff around.
Wait, now, have you ever named a beer? Oh, cool.
Yeah, I've named a few of them. Actually, I've named a lot of them now. I didn't do the original name, so like the Atomic Duck, that wasn't me personally. But I started naming beers 2020, so is when I came in and kind of started taking over doing those.
Well, you're doing a great job. They're creative.
Thank you.
So what would you say is next for Able Baker? Anything like coming in the future at all?
Yeah, we've looked into some things. We have Formula One coming out here next year in November, and they're kind of promoting that as the ticket to have for 2023, and that's the event to be at, bigger than the Super Bowl. So we're looking into how we can kind of, get our foot in the door there, and what we can do, whether we do bounce backs, walking around. We have somebody that does special events that wears the duck suit and walks around. So we'll definitely try to get that going and have somebody in a suit walking around, whether we give out stickers or whatever, as long as we get out there, and so we're just trying to figure out how to be involved in that. That's a big thing for 2023. But other than that, we want to expand our membership club. This year we had 150 people. Next year we want to boost that up, and then just continue growing the package line and the cans and the branding with those.
With the Formula One race, I haven't looked into it much, but do you know, is the course or the track kind of in your area?
Yeah, so they're going down the strip. They're going east of the strip and then up and then down the strip. They'll be south of us, but they're not coming in front of us, but not too far away. And those crowds are going to be along that entire track and everywhere. So it's going to be huge.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah.
Can we come?
I mean, we
Do you need that brewery tour that week? We'll come.
I can wear the costume. I mean, if you need someone to step up.
Yeah, right.
Oh, well, I think you've covered all the questions we had. Did we happen to miss anything?
Oh, I don't know. I have. I don't know I have the questions that you guys had sent over, so I was planning for an hour. Where we had 20 minutes here.
I know, he just kind of flew right there.
Yeah, it was so easy to chat with you.
Yeah, well, no, it's fun. I mean, do you guys have any questions? I mean, off the chart or anything that, like from your trip when you were here, what was your favorite thing, the flight, or did you have a specific beer that was your favorite?
I think just the overall experience, at least for me, I think that was the best part. I think just seeing on Instagram, like how fun it looked with the duck on the roof and the flights and just like your little patio in the front with the view of the Strat. I think it just kind of met my expectations that were already set high. Yeah. That's literally
the view from the patio. Like that view is the view from your patio, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're getting out of the hot months right now, and so the patio, I mean, it's just too hot during certain months that the patio really people just don't even go out on it.
Right.
So now we're cooling down and getting back into that season where people will sit out there, and it's nice because a lot of other states and cities it's too cold to be on a patio already.
That's us.
So we're getting into the time of year where people are enjoying the patio, and today I think we're 90. So right now my watch says 97. So that might be warm, but once the sun goes behind the building, it's not too bad. And so we have a couple months till December when it gets too cold for people to be out there, or it starts getting windy. So we gotta take advantage of that, enjoy the weather.
Yeah.
But I think that was one of the other questions, was what am I looking forward to coming up? And it was the cooler weather was one of my answers. And we're getting into stout season, so we have stuff in barrels that we're going to start, draining those barrels and getting those into the bottles or cans or on draft. And I'm looking forward to that. So it's exciting.
What kind of stouts?
Our flagship stout is honey dip stout, and so it's made with real honey. And so we do a double barrel version, and so we'll have it in a rye barrel and a whiskey barrel, and we'll blend it.
Okay.
And so this last year we did a deconstructed release where you can buy just the whiskey, just the rye, and then the blended one as well. So that one doesn't come out till February, till Valentine's Day. Our membership club has mocha nut coming out, which is going to be coffee, chocolate, and coconut, and it's 17%. And it's the first time we've ever made it. So it's brand new. I'm personally looking forward to that one. Get something new, and something that big is just 17% is pretty bold beer.
Yeah, that's
Have that in the club. Well, thank you so much for hanging out with us and chatting, and we had the best time at your brewery, so it's fun to just hear all of our questions be answered.
Yeah, well, I appreciate the invite on here. I'm glad you guys came in. Hopefully you can get a trip out here again, at least maybe before Formula One, but if not, then you come knocking on the door, you want to wear the duck suit.
I'm all in.
Yeah, good. But thank you again for having us on. We appreciate it, and hopefully we will see you guys again soon.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank
Cheers.
you. All right, bye.
We've reached the end of this episode, but there's plenty more to keep you busy. For For online source materials and proven case studies delivered right to your inbox, sign up for our mailing list by visiting marketthebrew.com. We'll see you next time on Market the Brew.